So my name is Alex. I'm founder of Splynx company, and with me today we have Vlad, who is our marketing manager, and Lionel, who is a customer of Splynx and also customer of Whalebone, and Philip, who is representative of Whalebone, and he'll be showing us deep dive to the technology. So this webinar is about security and about how this security can be implemented in the ISP network. So the short introduction of myself. So if you don't know me, I'm a founder of Splynx billing system that we founded in 2016. Before I was working as a network architect in a quite large network in South Africa, Skywire Technologies. So we had fiber optics in Durban, in Cape Town and Johannesburg, and we had plenty of towers, wireless network with several thousands of subscribers, mainly business-to-business customers, and also we didn't have any security in the network. So that's usual. This is like a common situation in the medium-sized or small-sized internet provider, where security is very costly and it's quite expensive. But as we know, all the large operators, they have some kind of security because they want to control what is happening inside of their network. So there are many professional solutions, starting from Juniper firewalls and others that can give you the overview what is happening inside of the network. And you can, with the deep packet inspection, with some NetFlow traffic, you can analyze, understand what is happening, and stop malicious traffic inside of your network. So the large operators, I mean the mobile operators, they do it, even if it's hidden and nobody talks about it. But I had a friend who was working as a chief architect in T-Mobile here in Czech Republic. And so he told me that they had like 4 or 5 racks of security equipment, and each device costed around over 100,000 US dollars. So it means that mobile operators, they would like to control what is inside of their network. And in case of like DDoS, small DDoS or DOS or malware, they prevent even before a customer recognizes that something is going on his device or inside of the network. And the situation that I had in Skywire Technologies was we had a customer who started to generate some bad requests to Google. So it means they got some virus, and the virus was generating plenty of search requests to Google, and Google immediately blocks the whole IP range of our company. So all customers were not able to access Google, Gmail, YouTube. And it took us some time to find out who is making the issue. And, we had some devices, networking devices, and with basic statistics, basic like firewall statistics, we were not able to find who is causing the problem because everyone accesses Google. So, and we had no way how to analyze and understand which customer we need to disconnect. So what I did in that case, I took a CyberRoam firewall that allowed us to pass 100 megabit per second traffic. So I put it to the network, and I started separating part of my traffic to this appliance and to the security appliance. And I found after like fifth or sixth attempt of spending 100 megabit there. So I found who is the customer. We immediately disconnect him. So we started to investigate it and talking to him to clean his computers. And immediately Google unblocked us. But I think it took us like 2 hours, and around 2 hours, customers were completely without Google connection. And that was a big problem. So starting from that time, we understood that we really need to improve something in our security. We need to get some proactive monitoring to understand and to catch these issues from the beginning. And but there are no solutions. Actually, this if we wanted to get firewall with deep packet inspection that will analyze traffic of 2 gigabit or 3 gigabit per second that we had in the network, we had to pay a lot of money, and we had no Whalebone and similar solutions in 2014. But 2 years ago, I met the founder of Whalebone, and he described me how technology works, and I was impressed. And I thought that this is something what every ISP can afford, and this is really smart technology that can bring security on certain level to the ISP network. So with Whalebone, we are able to understand what is happening inside of the network in terms of threats, even without a deep packet inspection and without any deep analysis of the traffic itself. If you don't know, the Whalebone works on the DNS level. So it's a DNS resolver that is installed to the network of ISP, and all DNS queries of customers go through this resolver. And because majority of malware and bots and all these bad things, they use DNS for connecting and for generating their queries. So DNS server can quickly understand and block these queries. And also Whalebone has proactive, or they have database of all the threats and bad domains that they gather every day, and they make analysis of it. And that's also helps to prevent all these threats even before they start making issues in your network. So we did also integration of Whalebone with Splynx to bring ability to immediately check what is happening in the network from one platform, so without switching between platforms. And also because we have all the customer information in Splynx, it means that you can get immediately information who is causing the problem. Because in Whalebone, you have information about IP addresses, then you need to look for that IP address, who's using it, etc. In Splynx, you can get this in one dashboard, and this add-on is free to use. So if you are a Splynx customer, you can install the Whalebone add-on without paying anything additionally and get two platforms connected. So this is how Lionel did it, and many of our clients already are using it in the same way. What I would like to show you quickly just now how this add-on looks, and then we'll talk to Lionel, so he will tell us his thoughts about the Whalebone the implementation in his network, and then Philip will explain us the technology a bit deeper. So I will share my screen quickly now. So that's Splynx administrative portal. When I log in there, there is a dashboard, but if I go to my networking, and there under networking, we have DNS threads field. So on the DNS threads field, we have the amount of threads that were called during one day. So one day is by default selected. I can analyze what was happening in the past by choosing this date picker. And there is one customer who generated a lot of queries today, and there is other clients. And also if I go down, I see all the requests in time period of one day, and what is the category of the problem. If it was a phishing attempt, if it was a malware attempt, some botnet, etc. And if I click there, it will show me some details of each action. And also I have an option to investigate further under my Whalebone access, because Whalebone is hosted separately. So it's a cloud service. And I have my own login details there where I can configure the things, configure DNS filters, etc., content filters. And so this is the basic overview. What was who was the customer? I can also check what was the domain that generated so many requests, and also I see the actions. So the actions, majority of the actions is blocking. So it means that these are failed attempts. So customer device tried to connect there, but it was not able to connect. And of course, if I want to analyze, okay, why I have so many issues from that client, and I want to see only his data, if I click on the client name, so it will send me to customer list of clients, and there you can see there is a tab, as we have information, services, billing tabs in Splynx, and one of the tab is DNS security, again, with selection of DNS issues. And customer can have multiple services, so we can select which service we are interested, or it will show us the issues on all his connections. And then when we scroll down, we see detailed information about the threats that were mitigated by Whalebone here in Splynx. And as I said, again, you have an option to go to Whalebone and configure the options, maybe allow domain and maybe block the domain, or set up some content filtering there. So this is that's all what you need to configure. Just in the configuration part, you connect, set up URL of Whalebone, the API key, and Splynx immediately grabs it all and matches IP addresses to customers. And so that's very quick connection, really easy to make. And so then you will be able to get full overview. So you'll have secure network, and also what is important part and what we'll be talking now is you can sell it to customers, not only use it internally in network, but also sell it. So the Whalebone we can use in, or like security products, we can use in two areas. The first one is to secure our network. So as a network administrator, I want to know what is happening inside of my network. I want to have full control. I want to see all these threats and malware and botnets. And this is the first area. And the second area, I'm able to sell it to some of my customers as an additional service to what they already have. And that's why I wanted to ask Lionel to join. Lionel, I would like to ask a few questions. And my first question is, if you can tell us a bit about your company, what you do. So Lionel is from South Africa, and what your company does, who are your customers, what are your services that you provide them?
Thank you, Alex, and also a good day to everybody. Yeah, so BitConnect, we are an ISP, still a fairly small company, but rapidly growing. And we focus primarily on connectivity and voice over IP services. So, as most of you would know, the industry that we play in is a very competitive industry, and that wasn't always the case in South Africa. So back in 2014, when I established my company, I did so with the goal in mind of, giving people an alternative to the monopolies that we had back in that time. And I'm sure anybody here who's also South African will tell you that a couple of years ago, getting a good, proper, reliable internet service to your home was a real issue, because there really were no options, and the options that were there wasn't that reliable. So I've kind of made it my mission to try and provide customers with something that is, with an internet service that is responsible and accountable to the customers that we have. Yeah, so and that's basically where BitConnect started off.
Yeah. Well, regarding the security service, it's very interesting that I think you were one of the first customers with Whalebone and Splynx integration who started selling it actively to end users. And so what is your what is your approach? Do you sell it to home users, or do you sell it to some small business, medium businesses who can buy this service? And so what is the service about?
Yeah, so that's the beautiful thing is, everybody has a requirement for security. It's not just your home user, and it's not just the school or the business, it's all of them. So with Whalebone, we were able to fashion products that speak to, I think, most of, or even all of those sectors. And it can be used by, your average home user, businesses, large corporations. It really doesn't matter. If you need to take traffic off your network, improve productivity of the people who work for your company, or just prevent your children from getting access to pornographic material and stuff like that, then you really can use Whalebone for all of those things. And that's exactly what we've done. I think some of our better success stories are the schools that we have using this product. But then also, as a free tier, we've got a product that simply looks after your general security, your malware, your phishing, and those kinds of things. So really, it's for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about people? Are they willing to pay for it? So that's always the question.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously not everybody's going to buy the product. I think a person who understands what the value is will pay for the product. And the way that we've done it is really, it's a zero-touch service. So it makes it very easy for an individual or a business to come on board, get access to the service, and get the benefits without having to know anything about how to set it up, because all of that is done on our side. So we do have individuals and businesses who are actually on these products and paying for them.
Yeah, that's really true. I remember when I wanted to even enable some content filtering at home, and I didn't have Wellbone. So now I have Wellbone that finally I was able, because I have 4 kids, and it was really difficult to lock everything, because they found out somehow how to remove the restrictions even on this Apple accounts, so on the YouTube restrictions. So they are clever. But as soon as we deployed this DNS security, so we had no more problems with that. But that was, and I was also looking for some solution for home solution, and I remember that TP-Link offered something, but it didn't work, so I had to pay. So it just didn't. It was very complicated even to subscribe for their solution that day. And internet provider didn't give us any option, and I was too lazy, and I'm an IT guy, and I was too lazy to buy the firewall, to configure it, to put it here, spend so much time on that. And when we got the Wellbone, we just created 2 networks, the Wi-Fi networks, which one was like unprotected, let's say, it was protected for threats, and the second one with content filtering. So on the content filtering actually blocks all this social media and all that stuff that kids like to use, So that's like TikTok. So we do not allow to use TikTok at home. So that's but the second network is open for us and for guests, of course. So that's even me, like IT person. So I was so lazy to make it at home, that thing. And I can understand that for example, small companies having like 5-6 employees, they barely have IT knowledge, and maybe they have some IT guy who comes there, set up computers, and they do not have any kind of firewalls. Like maybe computer firewalls. This is the only thing that they have. And obviously, I think that these small companies will use it immediately. So if you give them the black box, so like if you give them the MikroTik router saying this is the box that is configured for you guys, just use it. So why not to pay it? What about like do you see any like reduction of like security incidents in the network, or some maybe customer satisfaction or OS complaints that brings, because you deployed Wellbone in the whole network, as I understand. So you use it in the whole network, and some customers, they pay additionally like for content filtering.
Yeah, so look, our general traffic is still fairly low because we're not a huge ISP. But I mean, I can see there's definitely less traffic going over the network because, as you saw in those logs, there's a lot of requests that's being blocked. And I think the major reason why a company like AdamG Group, for instance, bought in on this product, they came to me one day, and one of the executives had a problem with a phishing email that landed in his mailbox. And I told them, listen, now I cannot stop that mail from landing in your mailbox, but I can prevent a person from accidentally opening a link and, getting caught up in some sort of scam. And it happens so often. I mean, there's a couple of times where it actually almost happened to me, because these things tend to look so legitimate. But okay, on the other hand, there is a difference between UPS and IPS. IPS doesn't exist. UPS actually delivers. So I would definitely say, there is a difference. There's definitely a less load on our network in terms of traffic, but also, the router or the router's CPU utilization, because you don't need to process that much traffic. And the one thing that I did was I said, this product, if a customer that is not paying for the service, they can have the option of overriding the whalebone DNS if they want to. But by default, any customer on my network gets assigned my resolvers. And if you're paying for the product, there's no way you're going to bypass the product because you're paying for it, so you need to be using it. You actually mentioned earlier that you have the two networks, which is a very nice way of doing it. And I perhaps have some scope in my case to accommodate for that kind of scenario. But we'll see as time goes. But in general, I would definitely say, for a network operator, there's definitely some benefit, or a lot of benefit to this, because now your customers are protected as well. And if a customer can tell somebody that, I'm with this ISP and they're providing me with this service, it doesn't cost anything. And I've had cases where I clicked on a link and they told me, listen, we're blocking this link because we're protecting you, because they do get that blocking screen as well. I think that is valuable, and it's a valuable way of generating additional trust and additional word of mouth, because that is extremely important, especially in South Africa. You need people to talk about you.
Yeah, I think this is like a kind of making a difference. So if you are a small ISP, and this is also always, it wasn't, it isn't, it will be a goal of Splynx, is to help small ISPs and medium ISPs beat the competition. I mean, beat all these big players. So that's why I always tell to my clients that, guys, you are not fighting against each other. So even if you are in one country, what you are fighting with multi-billion companies that are connecting people to internet. So they have almost they have huge amount of money, so you cannot imagine how much. They build the networks and they want to become monopolists. So, and the only regulators do not allow them to do that. So, and it's everywhere in the same country. So we have clients in Spain where I live, we have customers in South Africa and Australia and the US, and in the UK, everywhere it is the same. So there is like a majority of internet connections, 85% usually, that is owned by 3-4 companies, so including mobile companies. And there are 10% of internet space that is owned by small and medium-sized ISPs. So, and of course, they are competing one to each other, but I think I always try to tell them that, guys, you are competing with the big ones, okay, because you are here fighting a bit with your local competitor, but the big player who is eating the whole market is this one, is the Vodafone, T-Mobile, all these big players. And if you want to compete with them, you must be super clever. You must be completely like everything what you can offer differently, you can do it. So the best support, so you should react immediately on each single request of customer. If you can bring additional services like mobile voice over IP, so that will also bring all the things together and will help you to beat this operator. Because if your customer trusts you in this service, why he cannot trust you with other services? And obviously security is something also what other companies do not provide, do not promote. They do not have it, and now you can do that. So what we did also in Splynx is IPv6 integration. I say, okay, if you can integrate and deploy IPv6, you will be the first IPv6 provider in your area. So that can also make this is what you are seeing, word of mouth. So people say, so these guys, they are small, but they are innovative. So they can do the things better. They do very clever solutions. And what I wanted also to mention is that if you, in Splynx, we have option to display this threats information in customer portal or hide it from the customer. So if you deploy Whalebone in your network and you don't sell it to clients, you can hide this information and just silently monitor and work in your network with a Whalebone solution. And if you are selling it to someone, you can enable, there is a button, enable DNS in customer portal, and then customer will see himself all the threats that were called by you in his network. This is also a good option. So if someone pays for it, also show him the results of your work. So what was called. So it's not just that we protect you, but also please log into a customer portal and find out that you have so many viruses and malware in your network. So that's what we did in Splynx option. So you can use it that way. And maybe the last question, Lionel, what I have is if you give any advice to other businesses or providers about the security. Do you think it makes sense to use it economically, because they have to pay for it? Obviously, Whalebone is not free. I think my personal opinion that it's not expensive. It's not that expensive compared to many other solutions. And what is your opinion? Is it affordable? Can people buy it, use it? Is it difficult to deploy? Also the question, how difficult was to deploy it?
Deployment was really easy. I actually expected it to be a lot more complicated than it actually was. And the nice thing is it's well documented. So any questions that you do have, the answers are right there on Whalebone's help. So, you know, I don't think I ever logged any tickets for the deployment or the management and maintenance of my resolvers. So, you know, it's really easy, and it's really extremely affordable as well. If you think of, you know, the amount of money or revenue that you generate from a customer versus what Whalebone costs you per customer, it's so minuscule. It's actually negligible. And you know, with that and the opportunity to actually generate additional revenue, it makes absolute sense. I mean, we're chasing revenue, but ARPU is a very big indicator of how much money we are earning on average per customer. And in a competitive industry like ours, you know, your margins on your connectivity is low. So how do you go and increase the ARPU, but more importantly, how do you increase the gross profit that you make on each customer? And if you have a service that you can add that costs you very little, it's easy to deploy, doesn't generate any support tickets, you know, it really makes sense. It's a fantastic way to increase the profit that you make on a customer without having to do a lot for it. You know, on our side, it's literally I just change the customer's IP address and automatically I start applying a certain filtering regime to his internet connection. So, you know, it's simple. And the other nice thing about it is that having additional resolvers, for instance, you know, you can host a resolver anywhere. If you have your own data center, your own hosting infrastructure, host it there. If you don't, use somebody like DigitalOcean or you know, any reputable good hosting company. And all you need is an IP address, and I would recommend setting up some firewalling on your resolvers to prevent them from being DDoSed and stuff like that. But you know, it's just simple. I think security is something we all need to take into account and build into our networks. And if you want to make money off it, do it. If you don't want to, if you just want to improve your network performance and take in unnecessary traffic off your network, then do it, because it just makes sense. In the end, I don't think you can lose, no matter how you do it. I just don't think you can lose. But if you don't mind, Alex, I just want to tell a quick anecdotal tale of something that happened last week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard the story, but Vlad has heard it. So we've got this one client. It's a school. Just keep that in the back of your mind. I got on WhatsApp. We received a message from somebody who says they need help to
Can we hear Lionel?
Lionel, could you please repeat? You were muted.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know how that happened. Yeah, so I received a message on WhatsApp from somebody who said they needed help to gain access to some adult or mature content. He said he's 32 years old, you know, he's of age, whatever. I need to help him. And so we don't give out any information or make changes to a customer's account without the main account holder's consent. So you just can't do that. So I told this person, so, you know, give me the account number and we'll look into it and see what's being blocked and if you're allowed to make that change. And, you know, after a bit of back and forth, eventually the person shared the blocking screen from the Whalebone resolver with me, and I was able to see what was blocked. And by that, I did some reverse engineering, figured out where the request was coming from. And it turns out that was actually a student at one of our customers, the Redwood Academy. And I told him, okay, you know what, we managed to figure out where this request is from. It's the Redwood Academy. We'll ask the principal if we're allowed to give access to these things. And so I quickly jumped on the phone and called the IT guy there. I said, listen, we need to go on a crackdown. There's somebody here who wants to do naughty stuff. So I gave them, I had the phone number. He even gave me his email address. It's like, it's actually sad, but yeah, so we were able to give the school that information, and I don't know what happened afterwards, but you know, it's a bit of a value add that we do for the customer as well. If something like that happens, I'm not just going to ignore it. The customer needs to know that these things are going on.
Yeah, interesting story. Yeah, thank you, Lionel, for sharing your experience, and thank you for the story as well.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I would like to ask Philip to tell us. Yeah, before we start, I wanted to mention about the pricing, also the older prices and licensing. And the request we will be sending after this webinar. So also glad we'll post the link where you can get a demo trial license of Whalebone. And regarding the pricing, I remember what Lionel also mentioned, I think, in the case study, is that actually you can cover the cost of Whalebone by selling it to one, two small, medium companies that will use it, and it will completely cover your costs of the Whalebone deployment in your network. So you have 2 paying clients of small, medium enterprise, and already you will start getting money from it. So it will cover all the subscription fee, which is not high. So, but this pricing we'll share with you, with all participants, and also we'll send you the link where you can get the trial of Whalebone. And now I would like to ask Philip to explain us, to make a deep dive to the technology, to what they do, how they do it, and yeah, very clever company, Whalebone, I think. So they work also with large enterprises, not small, medium companies and ISPs, but also they do also participate in the European security project now. So
yeah.
Philip.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Alex, for the great introduction. I wanted to mention that it was a very good first part of the presentation to see the situation from the ISP, from one of our customer. Thank you, Lionel, for sharing this experience. We are very happy that you are satisfied with our product. You guys, you have said a lot of information from my presentation, so I hope it will be useful. So let me share the screen. Hope you see it. Just let me know, please.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so let me introduce you to Whalebone and our product Peacemaker. Whalebone protects network at the DNS level, completely on a DNS level. We have found that there is a great potential to improve network security, and the ISP segment is one of 3 we are addressing. We know that we face some challenges along with you, and they are how to improve numbers, how to keep customers happy, and how to differentiate yourself from other ISPs and from maybe telcos, big ones. There is a very strong price competition today. It's very difficult to differentiate yourself from other ISPs other than price. And one of the options is the quality of the internet, the quality of the service in general. And that's where our product Peacemaker can help you. Some numbers. What our product does happen at the DNS level, as I have mentioned. We use cloud and on-premise resolvers to do this. The reason why it happens at the DNS level is simple. 91% of all malware uses DNS translation to work correctly. According to the British ISP Association, ISP networks are largely cyber attacked. We can say that DNS is a key place where we can improve network protection and prevent the impact that these potential threats have on the network. Last but not least, in every trial we run, we find out that more than 30% devices in the network are attacked. This is not just end user devices. We are talking about devices that you have at the core of your network. What you might be interested in and what make us different from usual approach, just running some DNS resolver with a certain number of connected security fees, is how or the way we work with the data, where we get it from, and how much of it there is. We currently have 15 million active domains on our blacklist that we recommend to block. Our advanced algorithm assigns them a score based on the number of visits to the domain, where we have the information about it, when it was registered, etc. This algorithm is trained on unique data from our telco customers with huge user base. We collect more than 60 resources, licensed and open source. We have our own inventory and neural network. Based on this score, we give to this domain, you can block them. Wellbone eliminates a lot of false blocks that you don't want to experience as an ISP. So this is the main difference between a basic DNS resolver, open source resolvers, solutions, and what's behind the Wellbone. Okay, Wellbone is a protective DNS that protects all devices on your network without the need to install additional software on those connected devices. And this doesn't just apply to computers or mobile phones, but also smart devices, weather stations, all devices using DNS translation. Most of these processes are done in the background, and the user is not even aware of anything. However, when it happens, the user is presented with a blocking page stating why they have been blocked. The blocking pages can be different depending on whether it is security threats, content, or blocking based on mandatory restrictions. Content filtering is mandatory in many countries. We take on this responsibility, and we are the guarantor that provides and delivers this service to you. We have another feature on the blocking page where we have added an option to allow bypassing the blocking. And in the case of this blocking, the customer can still visit the page if you allow it. The blocking pages are white labeled, and you can customize the entire blocking page. You can add there your logo, a link to your web page, to your some other additional plans, You can educate customers about threats and so on, etc. What we see on this slide, it's a hybrid architecture, what we have. What does it mean? It means that you can run on-premise resolver locally in your network and manage all the stuff or configure all the stuff through our admin portal. So the data is not stored on your machine and to ensure the best possible performance. You don't have to deal with command line. You can easily configure everything through our admin portal from anywhere. We offer two variants, Peacemaker security and management and Peacemaker content filtering. In the picture, you can see option with content filtering, where you can set any number of content policies per IP or per IP range, as Lionel have mentioned. We have great experience with monetization, this option of our service. Okay, here you can see a few reasons why is now the right time to start launch such a service we offer. First, people are used to pay for cybersecurity or for other services, other subscriptions. They don't want to install another software to be protected, to have the cybersecurity. Malicious schemes are presented in the media. People want to make sure they are viewing appropriate content. With a blog page, you can show the customers the value you have brought them. So this is the key point where you can show the value. Example from one of our customer, it's a big telco here in Czech Republic, and this telco offers a similar service from Wellbone, and they have 18% adoption rate so far, and it is growing. So it's not just about differentiation, but also about a significant technological improvement. It saves time in dealing with the aftermath of malware infections. For example, one example, if you have a client that has an infected device on a native IP, this client can end up blacklisting the entire IP address or IP range by sending a spam, and it can be a big problem to get rid of or get this IP whitelisted or back from the blacklist. Infections of active network elements or devices are also a big topic. You have certainly seen attacks on a number of network devices from well-known manufacturers in recent years. These devices are pretty well known from having a weakness in their firmware, and attackers are trying to exploit and take control of them. The DNS is often neglected, but now protocols, RFCs, other standards are emerging. For example, DNS over HTTPS, DNSSEC, and so on. Wellbone meets all these following standards. Something about our company. What's our goal? Our goal is to protect 1 billion people worldwide, and we are member of the industry associations, teams, and other national agencies to ensure the best results. And Alex mentioned the project DNS for EU. There is a consortium led by Wellbone, and we won the EU tender for DNS for EU. It's an official DNS resolver for European Union. We have 300 plus more customers in 33 plus more countries. So the easiest way to know whether it is worth it is just to try it with no strings attached. It takes like 1 hour to set it up, and VM, virtual machine with the minimum hardware requirements like 2 CPUs, 4 GB RAM and 40 GB storage is enough to handle 10,000 queries per second. During the trial, you will see the results shortly for yourself. After this trial, we can go through the results together. I would like to mention that don't hesitate to contact Splynx or Wellbone and our team regarding the trial and any questions you may have. Together, we will help you to set up a trial and us answer all your questions.
Thank you, Philip, for the great presentation. So I think from the presentation, it's clear that Wellbone is one of the leaders of this DNS security market. So if it was selected as the primary provider for the whole European Union for this large international project of DNS security, it means that the technology is very strong and the team is clever. So, and I'm really glad that you guys do not deliver the solution only to large telcos that you do in Europe. And I know this is O2 is the largest mobile and fiber operator in Czech Republic. I know also that you have some big deals also in other European countries, but I'm glad that you created the Peacemaker, the product that for affordable cost will be able to help the small and medium ISPs, and we can get the same solution that large telcos already are having for some period of time. Thank you for that. Thank you for the presentation. What I wanted to show just quickly is what I didn't show is regarding the customer portal. What I mentioned before is, first of all, in the version 4.1 that we released in Splynx, we have a new customer portal. And this customer portal has Wellbone integration. And as I told you that if you are selling the Wellbone to clients, you can enable the statistics in the customer portal. And how it will look from customer perspective, I will show you quickly now. So it will take just a few minutes. But imagine that you are a customer of ISP and you connect to your customer portal where you have the whole information about. So there is an overpayment on your account. There are some services that you use. If you want to get your statistics of the internet, there are statistics of your internet connections that you get from the ISP and also statistics of your voice calls. And under My Products, you get all the services, ability to order the new product, change services. So it's a self-care. So customer, if you allow customer, he can upgrade and downgrade immediately. He will be charged for the service. And the thing that I mentioned here is that under DNS security, if you sell him the service, again, he will have it under his customer portal. But when he opens the customer portal, there he sees that today and yesterday he had so many issues. There was 2,240 queries from his network to this domain name that was blocked. And then he can go through all the domain list and analyze what was happening there, and he will understand what he's paying for. And of course, information about all his finances, invoices, payments, and ability to pay online. All this we have in our new customer portal. And as I said, in this version, so Wellbone became a part of our customer portal. So feel free to use it, enable it, and provide it to clients who pay, clients who do not pay but are secured silently. You don't show him anything, so or you can show them. So it's up on you. So everything is possible to configure and enable in the settings of Splynx platform. So I would like to thank to Lionel and to Philip and to Vlad for the participation. And maybe if we have any questions from our guests, so please feel free to ask. I remember I was on at the conference in the UK, and always after each presentation, the question was, how much does it cost? So anyone will ask any question about Wellbone, about integration, but I think we shown quite well what how it is integrated, and the right option will be to test it and to try it. check it. It's very simple, so that if you don't want to host the resolver, you can get the cloud option quickly. So just connect your network to cloud resolver. And as Philip mentioned, as soon as you connect it, you'll immediately see how many things are happening in your network. So how many devices are getting some malware and all that. Miners also, so it shows the mining. So and it's the miner actually is something what affects a lot the performance of end user computer. So you have on your phone or on your computer, you have a miner. So he's mining the cryptocurrency, and your phone, your computer is getting slower and slower. And usually what people do is they call their ISP and says, my internet is so slow, I cannot work. You know, so that's every ISP knows that. So that this calls from people who are not the IT. So we don't blame them for that. So but they call and say, my internet just doesn't work. You know, and then they say, but there is like a miner on your computers, nothing works there, but internet is not working. Internet is not working as well because nothing works there. And so we have no questions so far. And so if there are no questions, I think we can, Vlad, if you can please share the link where we can get this Wellbone request, so where people can just get the trial of Wellbone or schedule a demo call with a Wellbone engineer, because also the Wellbone has a support team that are able to show and configure and explain you how to set up the Wellbone settings, how to set up content filtering. This is possible during the demo call. So to book a demo call, also we will send you the links. So Vlad, please prepare the links and we will send it to all participants with ability to book a demo call, ability to get the trial and to test it. And if you have any questions, just feel free to write me directly.
Alex, I see there's one question in the Q&A.
Yeah. Can we configure depending on service? Example, I have subscribed for 2 internet service and I want to available DNS security only for one service. Is it possible? I think if I understand well, all depends on the settings of the DNS resolver that you configure to your client. And if you are overriding, so that's what is also done usually, so you can do it in Liquidtic easily, or request to port 53 on UDP, you can override it and send all requests to Wellbone resolver. So for certain customers who do not pay for it, you can remove this overriding, or you can just leave them your default DNS settings. So everything is done on the level of the DNS. So it means in your IPOE configuration, you define DNS server, and in your PPPoE settings, you also define DNS server that customer receives. But what as I, as a networking engineer, obviously what I do or I did in this case, and what Lionel told also is, if customer buys your resolution, the DNS resolution, so service, then just all what goes from his IP addresses, from his IP range, all these requests, you can easily just make one like a MikroTik rule to say everything that goes to port 53 UDP, send it to Wellbone resolver. So that's also customer from that IPs will get, always will get DNS resolutions from protected resolver, and all other customers, they will just use regular resolver. So I think that the answer is yes, it is possible. Is there any option for customer-specific filtering and services? If I'm not mistaken, Philip, because I use also Wellbone, I tested it a lot, you can create as many content filtering as possible. Yes. So you can create you can create basic content filtering, for example, strict policy and medium level policy and adult protection or anti-adult protection. And then you can create a company A filtering option, company B filtering option, and apply it just to the IP addresses of that company in the Wellbone settings.
Yes, Alex, you are right. You can create as many security policies as you want, with security, without security, just content.
Yeah. So the question, the answer on this question is again, yes.
Yes.
What's also nice about that is you can, for every policy that you have a customized blocking page. So if it is a business customer, for instance, you can have them pay a little bit more, give them a customized corporately branded blocking page with their own information. And normally your business customers would have a static IP address or a range of static IPs, and you can add that onto that profile or the policy as well. So yes, you can definitely, absolutely do it, and it works great as well.
Thank you, Lionel. How the Wellbone identify that customer from MikroTik? I think what is the identification of customer? The question is. So it's the identification of customers based on IP address. So we need. That's why we need to have. That's why we need to get the customer IP be visible by the DNS resolver. So it means that if we will hide everything by net, I think that will not work 100% correctly as we need. So that's why there must be a visibility. So that's how I did on my lab. I connected OpenVPN tunnel between main router and Wellbone, which was installed in cloud, and it was visible. But if you host it on premise, so you host it inside of your local network, inside of your network, so then all customer IPs you can recognize by this DNS resolver. So customer IP is crucial. So do not net everything by one IP, sending it to the resolver.
Okay, there's another question. How would you compare Agart Home? There is Docker container which can run easily on a MikroTik to Wellbone side Splynx integration. Why Wellbone as name? Alex, can you compare it? Because I don't know well the Agora Home.
I don't know it as well, neither. Okay. So never okay. Touched it. So Heike, if you ask, please maybe if you have any experience how it works, share it with us, and we will send it to our customers. Heike is our partner from Kenya, so he runs our Kenyan business. So he works very close with us, and he likes to ask always tricky questions.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another question is required to assign the public IP to all customers who want the service with specific filtering. I don't think that public IP is needed for that. So if you will host the resolver itself, this is what Philip explained on the presentation, that you can host the resolver. So it means where all the DNS queries goes, where they go. So if you host it locally in your network on some virtual machine, you don't need any public IP addresses. You can have everything on private. And so you have this resolver that is installed on premise locally in your network, and the second is the cloud, which you connect as an administrative portal, and this is what Wellbone provides. So there are two things. You don't need to use only cloud resolver. You take this resolver, let's say, out of cloud, and you install it on premise, and that's no need of any tunnels, any public IPs. So that will be sorted that way.
Thanks, Alex. I haven't answered the question why Wellbone as a name, because we are filtering internet from threats, like whales filtering oceans from plankton. That's behind our name.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there is one question. Hello, I'm a bit late on the session, but my question is about prices of the Splynx. The prices of the Splynx are available online, so you can log into, you can open the website splynx.com, and there is a pricing. If you click there, type amount of customers that you have in the network, immediately the price will be calculated. It will be shown to you. Yeah, Vlad shares in the chat this website, this link. We are very transparent, so we have all pricing for all our regions. We want to make it competitive, so it can work everywhere. And so this is what you can also, if you will read more, there is a description of what price includes. It includes implementation costs. It includes like a transfer of database, a few calls with our support engineers that will help you to configure everything. And it will cover regular support. So you can send us tickets. We got around 60, 80 tickets a day from our customers where we respond and answer how to do the things in Splynx. And if there are any questions, we try to resolve them during one day. So that's always included in Splynx subscription. Regarding the Whalebone subscription, there are two different products. The Peacemaker is just DNS security without content filtering. And then another product or additional license is required for content filtering. We will send the pricing today or after this webinar to all participants. We'll send the pricing structure, and we will send you the links where you can download the trial, get the demo call.
As a very enthusiastic Splynx user myself, I just have to add that once you get to know the system and everything it can do for you, it very quickly becomes apparent that price doesn't matter. It's very affordable, but you know, everything that Splynx has done for us and the amount of automation that we get, honestly, I don't think price is even a factor.
Yeah, thank you, Lionel. Great to hear. Need to share this feedback with some other clients who always think that price is the crucial point of the deal.
We have another question. How many requests can a VM with minimum requirements described in the presentation can handle? So minimum hardware requirements to CPU 4 GB RAM and 40 GB HDD can handle 10,000 queries per second.
Which is a lot, I think.
It is.
Yeah. So there is no need for like a really expensive VM or hardware for running Resolver. It's because all the things are stored and analyzed in cloud, so it's not done locally. So the Resolver only like answers the requests and blocks.
Translation is happening on premise, and all the data are stored on our cloud. That's why we have this hybrid architecture.
Yeah, the complete recording session will be available in English. We don't have other languages, but if you need assistance with Splynx, maybe Whalebone in French. So you saw there is a Heiko who wrote other comments. So Heiko, maybe you can assist with French language because he speaks French. What's pricing of Whalebone for 1,000 active subscribers, more or less, Philip?
More or less now, or we will share the pricing after the event. Am I right, Alex?
Yeah, but I think if we talk about it depends if there is a content filtering enabled or disabled.
Yeah.
But I think we talk about less than $100 monthly for this amount of users. So it's not thousands or hundreds even. So I think this is really like an affordable price. So it's below $100 per month for this amount of subscribers. Without content filtering, maybe a bit above with content filtering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting question. Do we have hardened Linux Splynx? We recently rebooted the server and lost all network services. The best thing for that is to write email to support@splynx.com, and my guys will take a look on what happens and how we can assist with that. So I think there are no more questions. And if you have any questions, just feel free to contact us, support@splynx.com or alex@splynx.com directly to me, and we will answer the questions related to Splynx, related to Wellbone. And the best thing is to make a demo call, like what we do now, this webinar, so we can make the same call with you one-to-one on Zoom and talk about the solutions, about the software platforms. Yes, so thank you, Philip, thank you, Lionel, thank you, Vlad, for your time. I would like to thank to all attendees of today's webinar and for your time, and we will send a recording shortly to your email and all of the pricing information and the links. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you too. Have a nice day.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.